good morning, everybody, and welcome to this third day of March for 2021. Hope everything is going well for you this morning. You've got things up and going. I have to tell you that this is the first day that I've kind of, I don't know, a little bit of a drag going on me today, and it's just trying to get back into the work groove, to be honest with you, after taking a week or so off, and this is my Wednesday, so I'm struggling a little bit this morning, but right? Don't we all struggle a little bit getting back into the work groove after we take time off? The other thing that I need to tell you up front this morning, and I always try to be as upfront as possible and as transparent as possible, I'm distracted this morning, and I'm blaming it on my wife because she is baking bread this morning. And how do you work with that, right? It's wafting all through the house. Yes, I will be the beneficiary at some point in the future, but it's this really good whole grain bread. And it's like, it seeps. I close the doors. It comes underneath the doors. It comes through any crack, and it comes straight in, and it's hard to work, but first world problems. Good morning to you. As I said, hey, if you want to weigh in this morning, this is, I'm Dan Gresham, by the way. This is my house. Hence, we call this Dan's at Home. And yeah, it's an update on the headlines, sort of, but it's really more about you and I just having some time together, grabbing a cup of coffee and conversation about things that are happening around us, like baking bread. If you're really, really fortunate, baking bread. Yeah, I can't wait till this is done. This will not be very long because, it's one of those great pleasures in life to me, is hot bread out of the oven with just a smear of butter across the top of it when it's still, fresh. It doesn't get any better than that. Well, there are other things, but that's one of those things in life. And the thing is, you do not have to be a great baker. And not that my wife isn't, but that's what she keeps telling me. These new recipes that are out there, if you want to try baking fresh bread, are now much easier, much less of a hassle than they used to be. And it doesn't take a bread machine to be able to put these breads together. And I want to think, it's a whole lot more healthy than the bread that I would be getting from the grocery store. I want to think that. I want to believe that. I do. I want to believe that. Don't forget, you can comment just like any other Facebook post. It's just as simple as going to the bottom of the page, side of the page, wherever you happen to be, and putting your information in there. And we can see it. I can see it on the screen. You can see it too. Look, right there. You can see Marie Jackson is up this morning. Mary, good morning to you. Hi, Johnson. It's nice to have you up with us this morning. Patricia as well. Frederick Davis is here. Kelly is up this morning. Hi, Kelly. B. Sims from Port Arthur is here this morning. Always, if you don't mind, if you want to say good morning, I love hearing from you. If there's something else you want to say, or tell us where you're watching from, that's always fun too, to know where everybody's at. Tamley, good morning to you. Yeah, it is the whole gang. It's me, the wife, and 2 dogs this morning. No grandkids at this point. Hi, Carlene. Good morning to you. Carol, always good to see you checking in from Elkhart. Danita, morning to you as well. Joyce is up with us this morning. Becky is here. Doing well, Becky. Progressing, moving forward. Post-op, it's a lot longer process than I ever thought it would be. Didn't know I'd ever be involved in something this long, but yeah. Moving forward, that's the good thing. Every day you just want it to be a little bit better than it was the day before. Hi, Becky Kahn. Good to have you up with us this morning. Kadrika, good morning to you. Lori, good morning. It's nice to be back as well. Also, Peggy is here. Barbara is here this morning. Debbie is here this morning saying hello to her peeps. And, I hope that's true, that we've created a community amongst ourselves that we can talk to each other. We can enjoy our mornings together and share this time, not just me with you and you with me, but with all the folks who are here in the morning. Tom is a faithful member of the morning crew here. Nina is up with us this morning. Carlene, you have every right, as does Becky, to be jealous of the fresh bed. Buenos dias. Buenos dias to you as well. Celia, glad you're up with us this morning. Also, David, good morning to you. Good to have you back as well. Tim is watching from Hot Springs Village. Tim, I want to believe that there's some connection to Southeast Texas, right? Either you grew up here, worked here, know somebody here, but you're in Hot Springs Village. What? They only have about 15 or 20 different golf courses and different things that you can do, not to mention the lakes, the Ozarks. Hi, Al. Good morning to you there in Groves, or I should say the Groves, right? Ray, watching from Manteca, California. Hi, Ray. Good morning to you. Also, Barbara Britton is watching in Burkeville this morning. Here's another one of our long-distance viewers. Levi Clark is in Atlanta this morning. Also, Laura Smith in Austin. People always tell me I'm kidding, but I'm not. These are people who are away from Porter. Morning, Pleasy, this morning. And Tim says, yes, he is. He retired from the BISD and he moved up to Arkansas. That is, Tim, a beautiful part of the country. I have to tell you, when I was a very young guy, my parents, my dad, who was an avid golfer, decided we were going to go on vacation and we were going to go to up to that part of the country because he had heard what great golf courses they had and great, facilities. So we took a trip up there and we went to and I'm not going to remember the name of it. Is it, I want to say it's Hope, but where they have the Diamond State Park where you can go and actually pan for diamonds, dig for diamonds. Never found one, but I always remember, doing that. So I do remember that part of the country. I'd like to get back up there. I've been into the Ozarks again, been to Arkansas, been to the Buffalo River, done Hot Springs. I've done a lot of rode motorcycles up in that area, which is a beautiful part of the country. Also have been fortunate enough to actually kayak on the Buffalo River. So I hear where you're at. But let's talk about some other things. Lydia Spinks over in the Woodlands. Good morning, Virginia. Says, yummy bread, you betcha, and it will be. Also, Jeremy Guillory asking, what are your views on the governor's lifting of the mask mandate? Well, funny you should ask that. We're going to get into that in just a moment. We certainly will. All right, right now, though, again, continue to post your comments if you want. If you don't mind, give me a like if you like, and if you don't, give me something else. But if you give me a like, it just knows that you're there, and it kind of gives me some... a little bit of, what would you call it? A little bit of credibility with the corporate that I can say, see, people are watching and they do like it and we should continue to do it. I'm going to continue to do it until somebody tells me not to do it, just because I enjoy being with you in the mornings, having a chance to talk about what is going on in our world. We'll start at KFDM.com, and indeed, it was my intention from the beginning this morning, Jeremy, to talk about the governor's decision and ask you how you feel about it this morning. How I feel about it is really probably irrelevant. How you feel about it is much more important to me. If you did not see it yesterday, 1:30 in the afternoon, from a Mexican food restaurant, I kid you not, the governor made his announcement. It was really no surprise to anyone. Folks saw it coming, that he would lift the mask mandate. Really, he would lift COVID protocols here in the state of Texas. And he called it opening up Texas 100%. We have now become the largest state to end an order intended to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. The governor facing some sharp criticism from his party when he put the mandate in place. And that was 8 months ago. And as you can imagine, he's going to face some sharp criticism from Democrats and others as he removes it. Now, here's the thing that my takeaway from this is that people thought, oh, okay, it begins immediately. Well, that's not really the case. If you read what the order says, what he said yesterday, that the limits will be lifted on March 10th, which was a week, right? A week, not today, not tomorrow. So, but of course, the reality is mandates are only as good as the enforcement behind them. It's just like any other law, right? They're only as good as the laws, the things that enforce them. And when I say that, take, for example, speed limits. I know They're posted at 65 miles an hour all over the state of Texas on interstate highways. How many people drive 65 miles an hour? Well, there are always going to be some who do, but there are always going to be a lot who don't, and there are always going to be the extreme guy that's in the left-hand lane doing 95 to 100 miles an hour. And to me, that pretty much is parallel to what we're going to see out of this mandate. Don't you think? There are always going to be those who are going to continue to follow the laws because they believe in abiding. And then there are going to be those who don't put much confidence in what anybody else says, and they're going to follow their own rules. And they're going to do what they believe. So, again, the governor, my one takeaway would be this: the governor didn't tell you not to wear a mask. He simply said there is not going to be a state mandate. I know. Some people will say, but Dan, that's the only way you could get other people to wear a mask, was by telling them that they had to. Likely, you will see signs disappear from shop windows that say mask required by, governor's mandate, state mandate. But that doesn't mean that you can't wear a mask if you're not comfortable going in someplace without one. And of course, if you've been vaccinated, you're going to be told it's wise to continue to wear a mask. But the reality is, if you've had both of your shots with the majority of these vaccines that are available, you're talking about efficacy or effectiveness at anywhere from 80 to 95%, depending upon the vaccine that you took and whether or not you have had the booster, or whether or not you've got the Johnson & Johnson, which is a single dose. Now, you have to ask yourself, even if you've had both of the vaccines, if you intend to get them, can I still get COVID? Well, the answer is yes. Nobody is saying these vaccines are 100% effective, meaning that there's no possibility that you're going to get it. There's still a chance. 5%, 10%, 15%. Plus you have variants and variations going on. Those are also have to be considered. What do you think? That's what I'm wondering from you this morning about, again, people who are adamant are going to continue to wear the mask. There's not much doubt about that. But how does this play out for the rest of the people who live in this same area? Patricia Ann McKenzie says it's a personal choice, but she's going to continue to wear a mask. Marie Jackson says, I will continue to wear a mask. Jeannie Foster, March, spring break month, crazy time to open up. Whereas Minister Guillory says, I agree with Patricia, I will continue to wear my mask as well. And again, the good news is no one's going to stop you from doing that. Now, if you're concerned about the fact that other people won't do that, I get you. I really do. Let's look at some things that are happening across the state as it relates to this. Here's one this morning. This comes from the Houston Chronicle. Obviously, there are a lot of businesses, because hasn't the onus been on them? Hasn't the onus been on business owners? Because when's the last time that you heard anyone say, oh, I saw somebody, they were arrested by a police officer because they weren't wearing their mask. And it's a state mandate that you wear a mask. You're not hearing that because it wasn't happening. But what was happening is that it was putting the burden on all of these stores and store owners, because people would come in and get angry, right? I can't believe you're letting people in here who aren't wearing masks. You need to do something about that. And now they're put on the spot to have to tell somebody, sir, ma'am, you're going to have to wear a mask. And then, running the risk of having some kind of incident, a ruckus happen in their store. So I'm sure there are a lot of businesses like HEB who says, we're taking the signs down. We're not going to require people to do it. The governor is lifting the mandate on March 10th. But this is what HEB, this is the statement from their spokesman. Although there is no longer a statewide mask order, HEB believes it's important that masks be worn in public spaces until more Texas and our partners have access to COVID-19 vaccine. As an essential service provider for the pandemic, HEB is focused on the health and safety of our partners and customers. HEB will still require all partners and vendors to wear masks while at work, and we urge all customers to please wear a mask when you come into our store. Now, all that said, again, they'll take the signs down. Another good story that you might want to read this morning in the Chronicle is the comments from Mayor Sylvester Turner, Harris County Judge Linda Hidalgo, and also probably one of the top experts when it comes to COVID-19, he's not happy. He says it's a little bit early to be lifting the mandate, the mask mandate. He says that he feels like they should have held off a little bit longer until you had a higher number of vaccinated population here in the state of Texas. On another note, we are not the only state that has made this decision. Mississippi is also ending its mask mandate. So we're not in this boat alone. I'm not sure that makes you feel any better necessarily. So let's see what you have to say this morning. Patricia McKenzie says, I agree, it's crazy time. Carlene Purdue saw this morning that the entire world is considering having all that are vaccinated will have to carry proof of their shot in order to travel. Carlene, I think you may have misread that, or maybe I haven't seen that story, because what I have seen is some countries are going to what they're calling vaccination passports that they're using, but there is no agency that I know of that could require that worldwide, that you would have to have proof in order to travel. It seems, to me, I know a lot of people would not like that idea, but I would like to know people who've been vaccinated and people who haven't. I think, short of like putting something on, maybe you wear a bracelet. I don't know. I would like to know, if I'm in a group of people, how many of these people have and how many of these people haven't. Now, they have the right not to tell me, right? But it would be nice to know, I think, if somebody did or didn't. You can weigh on that as well. Dixie Austin says, I think it was the right time. People have the choice. Texas needs to be open. I'm glad he did it. Here's my other question, Dixie, is what part of Texas was not open? I know you're going to say, well, people were restricted in the number or percentage or the time or, how many. Yeah, I got that. But I mean, as far as I could tell, it looked like pretty much everybody was doing business in the state of Texas. Now, they may have been doing it a little more restricted. Here's the other thing that came to my mind is, I know it's like, well, now restaurants can be 100%, bars can be 100%. Do you think they will be? Or have this kind of created this paradigm shift in who we are, that maybe people are not going to go out to eat in the numbers that they did before? They're not going to go out to, hey, we can cook at home. We can prepare meals ourselves. Some of us found that out. Some of us, it was like, wow, okay. I don't have to eat out 5 nights a week. So I'm just wondering, I'm curious, if even after these restrictions are lifted, will we see this sudden influx of people going back to restaurants? But again, my point just be, were we ever really shut down? And I understand your point, I do, Dixie, that now it would be 100% open. Carol Lingo said, I got the shot. I will still wear my mask. Peggy Goss says, hopeful but somewhat apprehensive. Tammy Cornwell says, I respect others and continue to wear a mask. Trilonda Hartley says, yes, the week before spring break began, I think it's sad that the governor would lift his order when the disease is still critical, but me and mine will continue to wear my mask. Coffee Landry says, me too. Why, Trilonda Hartley says, thank you, HEB. Susan Guidry, good morning. Sorry I'm late. I still wear mine. Another thank you to HEB I see is popping up this morning as well. And again, doesn't this come down and come back to where we started a year ago when we talked about personal risk assessment, that you're the only one who can decide for you, what you're going to do, how far you're going to do. But then the question becomes, when you leave your house and you go out into do you have an obligation to other people? Do you have an obligation to wear a mask? Because the way I've always understood it, unless you're wearing an N95 or some kind of really high-end mask, you're really not protecting yourself when you put a mask on and go out. You're protecting the other person. You're reducing the possibility that, anything that you, for lack of a better word, spray, right, is going to be caught by that mask and then would protect others. It's not that, it's protecting me. Nothing can get through this gauze. Well, that's not really true. So the idea was the other person has to protect you. You have to protect the other person. Adam Stevenson simply says, I am not wear a mask. I am not going to wear a mask. Okay. Again, comes down to that idea. I think I said Adam. Now that I look at it, I see that it's Aiden. Aiden, I apologize. But again, personal risk assessment. How much of a risk are you willing to take? Have you had a vaccine? Not had a vaccine? Will you get the vaccine? All of this is going to play out over the course, of the next several weeks. And we have heard word today from President Biden saying that he feels like we can have enough vaccine supply so that every single person in this country who wants one will be able to have one. We'll have the vaccine available by May, but it would probably take through the course of the summer to get it all done. And hopefully, don't we all hope that by, fall of next year, we're not even having this conversation. We'll be talking about what was. All right. But the discussion will go on today, and I just wanted to give you an outlet to be able to talk about it. All right. I am pretty much done today. I'm going to go and get some things done. But before I go, always like to end on a little lighter note, or at least something a little bit interesting that's not necessarily the day's top story. How about a headline that we maybe can all appreciate? Austin American-Statesman says, how the Texas winter storm might have actually helped this year's Hill Country peach crop. A lot of people assume every time, you look at this photograph and you see ice on these, peach trees, you're like, nah, done, dead. Not necessarily. In fact, peach growers say the freeze in mid-February came before the buds started, so it probably won't even affect the peach trees. And some fruit, actually, from what I understand, I don't claim to be a great farmer, but from what I understand, can actually benefit from a hard freeze. Now, if that hard freeze is, what was it, 6 degrees up in, Dallas, Fort Worth, minus something up there, then that's probably not the case, but a good freeze might actually help. It's at least holding off the mowing of the grass for a couple of days. Listen, again, I just want to take the time to say thank you. I've always said it, will always continue to say, time is the greatest currency we have. Money you can make more of. Time you cannot. So I appreciate your investing just a little bit of that with me today. And I hope that you find it was worth the investment. Don't forget, there are several ways you can follow what's going on in Southeast Texas. One of them is right here on the KFDM Facebook page, also on Twitter, Morning TV Dan. Plus, of course, you can also go to the YouTube page, Dan's at Home. And I am, as I said, done for the day. Well, done working for the day anyway. And then I'm going to get out of here, go out and, I don't know, maybe we'll get out and go for a walk today. That sounds good. Get out inside and enjoy some of the sunshine. I hope you have a chance to do the same thing and encourage you to engage in civil discourse today about the governor's decision and moving forward, with the key being civil discourse, kind conversation at best. All right. Enjoy your day. I will see you bright and early tomorrow morning on the television show. And of course, I will see you right back here on our At Home Update. Have a terrific day.